Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Fair, and we're back for Resumes Part 2. If you're viewing this for the first time and you haven't seen Resumes Part 1, definitely check that out as there are some helpful tips to get you started and prepared for the second part of this series. Today's topics are going to include resume format, different types of resumes, resume templates, databases, and websites. So let's start with the resume format. There's going to be just a little bit of additional information I'm going to present to you today in addition to part 1, only because some of you may decide not to use a template, and that's perfectly okay. If you're going to not use a template, obviously take the resume information I gave you from part 1, but in addition, we're going to talk about font size. So make sure that the font that you use is easy to read. Some classics approved fonts will be Times New Roman, or ones that are similar to the crisp clearness of the Times New Roman font. Your font should be between 10 and 12. Now, granted, some of the headings may be a little bit larger. Your name up at the top will be larger, but overall, the font should be between 10 and 12. Page margins also are important if you're going to do your own resume. So one of the things about page margins is that the standard page margin in Word works perfectly fine. However, sometimes you may need to reduce the margins to make your resume look better in length. So it fills the page better instead of you having maybe 3/4 or only a half a page. You definitely want to try to make it look at least that one full page. So you can tighten the margins or reduce the margins, and that can easily be done by looking up a Google video to see how that can be done in Word, depending on what type of Word version you have. Then the length that we talked about a little bit before, the 1 to 2 pages. I just wanted to add that usually the 1 page is definitely limited if you're in an entry-level graduate. You usually don't find that you're going to go into a second page, but make sure that if you do go into the second page, that second page isn't just one item. For example, if it's being like hobbies or interests, try to get it to fit somehow, whether it's reducing some of the font sizes, but just don't go over to that second page just for 1 or 2 things. Make sure that your layout is consistent throughout. So the resume format should follow the same consistency through the whole document. For example, dates, location, job titles, etc. should be in the same position for each description. The layout should be easy to read and allow for some spacing to ensure it is pleasing to the eye. Online submissions. So most job applicants are having to submit online resumes. If you're submitting an online resume, yes, you're working in Word. However, it's really best to make sure that you submit it as a PDF document, and that can be done right in your Word document. This will ensure that everything that you just formatted, whether it be a template you're using or the own that you've done, will be preserved in that document. I have seen where no fault of the applicant has submitted the Word document, and for some reason when they submit it to what we receive, you can tell that it wasn't in a PDF, and it's just not looking right once we actually go to print it out of the system. Doesn't happen always, but it can happen. So there are different types of resumes that are out there. The 2 I'm going to talk about today are the chronological and functional. Remember, we really briefly also talked about curriculum vitae, again, used for academic or medicine, and they're longer than a resume. They're usually at least 3 pages, and they talk about a whole lot more, such as presentations and other achievements and publications. So for most people, you're looking at the chronological or functional resume. A chronological resume, your work experience is organized with the most recent employer first, followed by the employment experience before that, and so on. This reverse chronological order helps the employer see the history of where you worked and is, for the most part, generally accepted resume in the most used format. It has a more conservative in nature approach and is used for those who have not had long gaps of unemployment. Your functional resume identifies and emphasizes key skill areas for a career field on the particular document. A worker or experience history is included, but descriptions of responsibilities and accomplishments are only listed if they fall into one of the key skill areas that they're requesting on the job description. A functional resume is usually used when a candidate makes a major career change, or has very little related experience, or is re-entering the workforce after an absence. The format is not always used, and most employers do prefer a chronological resume. So we've talked about a little bit of resume templates. Just to go over what a resume template is, it provides you with a layout. This helps you not have to design your own resume from scratch. The template starts the process by laying out basic sections that hiring managers expect to see. A resume template can help you save time while reminding you how it should look aesthetically. And once you have determined which one looks most appealing, you can start to edit your document. Sometimes people feel that you're editing documents that actually takes longer. It definitely just depends on your computer skills. So I've told you about some databases and websites that I'd like to talk over. The databases we're actually going to go through are located through the library website, and additional websites will be provided in the email. So make sure that you definitely sign up with the link that is going to be provided in the posting for this resume workshop. Okay, so we're on the library homepage. The first thing you're going to do is go to Services and down to Online Reference Sources. There are two databases I'm going to show you. The first database will be the Learning Express Library. You can see here it gives you a brief description of what's available. There are other things than resumes that are available through this. However, that's what we're going to focus on today. And once it pulls up, you will have to create an account. It's very easy to do so. It's just going to ask you some basic questions. But once you do, you're going to come to a home screen that looks like this. I'm going to have you actually select the Job and Career Accelerator. It gives you some great tools, not only for building your resume and cover letters, but for searching for jobs and exploring occupations. So if you go to Build Resumes and Job Letters, it brings you to, again, having to select that one more time. And you can see on the left-hand side, it's Build Your Letter, and on the right-hand side, it's Build Your Resume. When you go to use Build Your Resume, what I would suggest you do when you get into the tool itself is to make sure that you are going to actually create from the beginning. The reason for this is if you already upload and edit an existing resume, it's literally you doing that as if you were to do it in Word. If you go through to that you want to create a new resume, you would enter your resume name. You can put a description. I wouldn't waste your time on that unless you're applying for multiple different career options. You can select the category that you're looking for. So if I'm going into, let's say, education, and then you can select your job experience. So I'm going to say I'm in education, but I'm a recent graduate. And if any of these apply to you, you would choose your application and then start building your resume. One of the nice functions through this is that it has an area where you can browse sample resumes and actually save them. So once you've gone through and added all of your information, as you can see as I'm scrolling down, and you don't have to add into every single section, it's whatever you want to add into. Then when you come back up and you finish that, you can look at the variety of different resume samples. When you do so and you save those resume samples, They will allow you to take your uploaded information and change and look at all the different resume samples that are there and kind of feed into whatever one you think looks the best. And the best part is it's free. The second best part is you can choose from a variety of different occupations that you can see here. So I selected librarian, and you can see here's one of the resume samples. And if I like how that looks, I can just hit select add to my selected sample resumes. You can use other items as well. It doesn't have to be exactly the librarian one because some of these are going to differ the way that they look. And the best part is when you're all done, you can save this onto a USB. You can come back up at the top where you can see it's saved resumes, and you can even go to letter builder. So this would be a great spot to do your cover letter. And most jobs, you should be using a cover letter. So make sure you use this tool as well. The next resource we're going to use is tutor.com. This can be found the same way we found Learning Express Library. So if you come to tutor.com, it's going to ask you for your library card number and your PIN number. If you don't have one yet, we are giving out library cards, and you can check out on our website and some of our Facebook posts how to do that. So for this particular resource, what is nice is if you scroll down and you come to Get Help Finding a Job, they have Search Job Resources, and then they also have Connect with a Career Coach. So if you were to click on Connect with a Career Coach between 12 p.m. and 12 a.m., you would fill out this little information worksheet here, and then you actually connect with a live person. So they're going to ask you what information do you need. Maybe you need information on some stuff with your resume or some font suggestions or page margin suggestions or things like that. That could be available through here. Or you just have questions on a cover letter. How can they help you with a cover letter? That's what they're there for. If I was to go back and show you the drop-off resume for review, they are going to review your resume for free. So it's a great resource because in the first workshop I told you get at least 3 people. So get all those people and then come to this resource and have them review it. And so once you submit your document within a 12-hour time frame, they are to give you that document back, reviewed, and hopefully you get some great review tips and you're able to change those easily. So you would just fill out this form, you submit it, and you would be set to go. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this second part of Workshop Resumes 2. There's a lot of information within the first 2 workshops. If you have any questions, definitely use that link that's provided in either one of the posts, as I am more than happy to answer some questions and send you some templates, some websites that are going to be useful for you. And I also got a few little tips and tricks that I'm going to put in there to get you successfully on your way to completing this resume. And hopefully when this is all over with and we get a little bit of freedom back to get back to work, you are ready to either A, dive into a new position in a different company, or just get an updated resume so if something should change and you want to look somewhere else, you have everything you need. It's always a good idea to have an updated resume. So again, I hope you enjoyed the workshops and good luck.